AI, AI, AI. What is AI anyways? The AI takeover. Where do you stand? Love it? Hate it? What is AI going to do to your college degree? That's the question. All right. Happy Friday, happy Friday. Of course, we got to start with my intro, the drum. Happy Friday. We're back. Take a little break here, but welcome to Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris. I hope, I think now everybody's getting ready for finals week, which is good. A lot of discussions about AI. Turn on your computers, on the news, articles, they're actually magazines now, news papers now talking about AI, which is very interesting because when the discussion of AI started, it was stay away from AI. What's AI going to do? We need to be far away from AI across the board. Students, professors, industry workers, everybody had something concerning AI. But that has shifted, that has changed. What has changed? Big discussion on AI. I could do different sections, topics on AI, artificial intelligence. What I want to focus on today for this podcast is based on the questions that most students have been asking. I think students, for some reason, find every opportunity to figure out how they could get out of college. And I've always said, our college system from 400 years ago is just getting better. Yes, there are things about college that we need to work on, but I don't find a reason to get out of college. But anyway, today's topic is not about college or no college. Again, it's definitely college. The question is, with AI, and it's a big concern of AI replacing jobs. So that's what I want to discuss today. That's going to be the topic today. The title for our podcast today is Beyond AI, Exploring College Degrees and Programs that Resist Automation. So usually when you hear about AI, okay, it is very related to automation, and we'll touch on that as well at some point. All right, so let's get right to it. The rise of artificial intelligence and automation. Okay. I'm going to get right to the numbers. So I think by now everybody knows what AI is. Actually, as I was getting ready for this podcast, the topic was going to be ChatGPT, which again is just a small component of AI, which created a big buzz, right? But I think this is a much bigger topic in terms of job replacement, what's going to happen now with AI, should we be thinking a little differently and what have you. So of course, I'm going to start with the data. So the global AI market now is over $190 billion. Just give me one of those and I'll be set for life, right? $190 billion. The AI industry is projected to increase by 13 times. We're not talking 2, 3, 13 times over the next 7 years. The US AI market is forecast to reach close to $300 billion by 2026. By 2025, as many as 97 million people will work in the AI space. The big statistics that I want to present is that 83% of companies claim that AI is a top priority in their business. 83%. So this should kind of give an idea as to where AI is going. Okay. According to IBM, a notable 77% of businesses are already integrating AI into their operations, or actively exploring its implementation. So of course, with this fast move on AI and its effects, the question is, which we have to talk about, is this going to replace jobs? That's the big question. So my students are, just like you watching here, you have every right to ask that question. If AI is going to replace the job, what should we do? What is the strategy that we need to come up with so we can be current? And I'm using the term current because that's going to be one of the suggestions that I provide. Current. All right. So what is the threat? What is the fear? We have to understand this so then, one, we can calm ourselves down a little bit and also strategize around what AI is doing. Is AI going to take over certain disciplines, certain fields? Yes. But no panic yet. What areas are evident that AI is taking over? For starters, data entry, right, is one of the big ones because right now, by the way, there's a new program, data science, right, which means we've invested so much in data. That's why AI is also more prominent now because now we're talking about data science. It's a program now that you can major in. It started not too long ago, right? So data is what AI feeds on most of the time. So yes, data entry, if you have a job doing data entry, chances are probably AI is going to take over. Basic customer service roles and bookkeeping, right? So let's be fair. Because usually, and I'm going to say this very carefully so people don't think I'm underestimating some of these different areas. But data entry, basic customer services, and bookkeeping, it doesn't really take much, right? Yes, bookkeeping, different levels. But I'm being very honest here, okay? So if that is a threat, then we should not panic so much, okay? If all we're looking at is this areas at the moment, okay? Not to say AI is not going to take over in different, but at the moment, that's kind of where we are. All right. Assembly lines, roles, yes, AI is going to take over. That's nothing new. I used to take my students on a field trip to car manufacturing plants, and you see those robots on assembly line, most areas, right? And there are certain areas that you see people, but those happen years, many years ago, okay? So bottom line is, yes, with automation, where AI plays a big role, it's become more effective than humans. And, you know, a writer once joked about how AI and its robots, or automation, don't need to take a break, even though I do think at some point, right, so far as prevention and maintenance is concerned, there needs to be a break. But I think you get a point, right, why AI might easily replace people in those areas. Okay, so now let's look at the resistant programs, which is, again, what the whole discussion for today is what provides job security and what we are studying in college so that AI cannot take over. I'm going to give you some pointers here as to how AI, or what AI cannot do, right? To kind of give you a little bit of a better picture of what you should be thinking about. So what AI cannot do currently is complex human interactions. So as I go through this list, you have to think about, what jobs or what fields are related to this 4 generic points that I'm making. Okay, AI is not very good when it comes to complex human interactions. When it comes to creative problem solving, occupations that, you know, the environment are so unpredictable, right? AI is not very good in those areas, again, or automation. And last but not the least, again, these are just my 4 points. High-level decision-making. I'm not saying AI cannot make decisions, but when it comes to high-level decision-making, AI falls short. So think about those 4 areas, because I guarantee you what you're doing in college right now, will fall somewhere under this umbrella, all right, to give you a little hope that AI cannot take over. In the healthcare profession, based on those four components that I mentioned, right, healthcare is big on human touch. So of course, in those areas, nursing, counseling, and therapy, physical therapy, right, those areas maybe some years down the road, but now, right, these are stuff that people still need. You don't want a robot or any automation trying to console you, right? So again, things of high sensitivity when it comes to human touch still has to be, the humans control that, and it's good. Creative art and design is another area, is the power of imagination, okay? It's the power of imagination. So those areas like graphic design, yes, again, AI plays a big role there, but we're talking about creativity on a different level, right? Okay, like observing and taking action. So yes, graphic design area, film industry, advertising and marketing, okay, those areas should have some strong areas, that people can feel comfortable still. And there's a lot of case studies on how these areas, is much controlled or better controlled by humans than AI. The list goes on. We have education and training, of course, mentoring, coaching, and personalized learning, teaching, education, right? Those are areas, again, that we should feel very, very comfortable in. And last but not the least, we're looking at entrepreneurship, innovation areas. Startup founders, innovators in technology and business, social entrepreneurs, okay? All right. So having gone through this here, I'm hoping just a little bit that you're feeling confident that your job or whatever you're studying in school is secure, right, to some extent. All right. So the big question of this discussion here, and yes, this podcast might be a very quick one, but I'm going to actually do different segments on AI since now is the big discussion. But I'm going to listen very carefully to the questions that students are asking immediately, and I will address those. But again, today's focus is to build some confidence that yes, you can still be in college and keep studying what you're studying. So the question is AI going to replace our jobs? And if so, why bother with college? As I've already discussed, give you a few areas why you should still keep your jobs or you should still focus on your career while you're in college. Before I answer that question, however, I do need to remind you about something that I've told my students all the time. I've always said, and I'm going to get into trouble for saying this again, but I will repeat it. I believe the slide rule days, and I'm sure 90% of students watching this here are probably wondering, Professor Chris, what is a slide rule? My dad and most of the older parents have always said a slide rule because that's what they use for calculations before calculators, and that's what they use, and it gets you into thinking. So yes, thanks to technology, now we have calculators that could do manipulations for us. What gets me, however, is that we've gotten to the point when I was a student, and even as an instructor, I did always encourage students to try to do some manipulation by themselves. I've always said, God has given us this great brain machine that we're still trying to study. We're still trying to figure out how it functions, how it thinks, how it manipulates, right? So it's a powerful tool that we have. For some reason, and I'll be honest, I don't think we dare to even try to test it out, to use it. Have you ever been to a grocery store or the shop somewhere where the power went out or the system is not working and you give somebody, they said, oh, sorry, we can't use credit cards now. So you're like, okay, fortunately for you, I do have some cash. Here it is. And they are clueless as to what the change needs to be, and I'm talking about some basic addition and subtraction. Okay. Once again, in engineering, and I've been there We do a lot of finite element analysis. Again, we're talking about AI. So coding was huge. By the way, talking about coding, I think that's one area that, not to say is threatened, but the discussion is, with AI, do we have to program? A whole different discussion that I will talk about later. But there's a strong belief that AI is going to take programming out of the equation. And maybe that's not a bad idea, because I had to take programming classes, and those were not my favorites, but I had to do it because it was required. So yes, if AI, I could tell an automated system what to do and it can act on command, it might probably cut down some coding, right? But again, it helps, right? Sorry to digress. The point I was trying to make here is we do have so many softwares that does so much stuff for us. And unfortunately, that has also made some of us trust so much in the software that even if there's a glitch with the software, we're not using human judgment. And this happens more so in the engineering field and technical fields. So it's just my hope and encouragement that what I've been preaching for quite some time now could be applied where we're using some human judgment, and at the very, very minimum, that we're trusting our own intuition a little bit. Okay? All right. So, well, there we have it. Take a deep breath. Okay? AI is not going to take over our jobs, or our degrees are going to be useless because of AI. What we need to remember, however, is 83% of companies claim that AI is a top priority in their business, and I already gave you the statistics here. What that means is we got to think one step ahead. That means with your degree, you have to figure out how AI is going to be applied to it. Gone are the days where, we don't want change and everything has to stay the same way that it used to be. There's a reason we have continuing education, for a reason. Continuing education is put in place because even before AI or this big discussion about AI, we have to continually keep up with current software, current changes, current tools that makes our work faster. So that's where AI comes in. I was right there when AI came out, and I was like, oh no, this is a bad idea. But it gets to a point where we have to really come to the realization that when we cannot beat something, we do two things. One, we don't let it beat us, but also we stay toe to toe with it. And that's exactly what we have to do for AI. AI is going to be there. AI is going to get much bigger. The pros outweigh the cons. So we got to look at it that way. Stay with it. See how we could use it in whatever area you find yourself in. Okay. So that will be my best advice for you on that. So when it comes to AI, to very quickly wrap this up, adaptability is number one. We just got to adapt. A lot of things we all don't like to do, but if it's going to help you do what you have to do better, that's what you have to do. So we have to adapt. Continuous learning, I already touched on that. And now, by all means, we are talking about interdisciplinary skills, which means we have to be a little more open-minded. We cannot just focus on what we're doing. Engineers need to understand what other engineers do outside their field. So once again, to give us all peace, we can't, unfortunately, do without AI. AI is not going to replace us. We got to be very smart about that. Complex human interaction, creative problem solving, unpredictable environments, and high-level decision-making all still falls within our hands. And with that, we're either going to stay toe-to-toe with AI, but it's definitely not going to overtake us. And we have to be very smart about that. If you're not, then yes, AI might be in the lead. And if it does that, then we'll be having a whole different discussion. So in conclusion, once again, welcome back. I had to take a little time off, but I'm back. Now we're going to keep this going. Stay in school, okay? Stay in school. I mean, I joke about students always finding different ways to, get out of school, get out of college, instead of entrepreneurship. Like, no, if it's entrepreneurship, you're gonna do better in college, all right? It will help you. It's a 400 plus years institution that has looked at every little area of improvement. And as I mentioned, yes, there are different areas to get it right. Our college system is trying to keep up as well. So whether with AI, or whatever technology, that comes up, your college system is always adapting, making sure that you're providing with those tools before you get out. So once again, it's not a discussion about college or no college. That is where to do it. So please, please, please do stay in school. I hope this discussion on AI, again, is giving you some confidence. Instructors will tell you how to use it wisely. Use it wisely, okay? Fortunately, some of you will find different ways of using AI to manipulate the system, and that, again, is going to come back to bite you, especially if you're in any of technical areas. We already know that you have to know your stuff, right? People's lives depend on what you do. So if you're using AI to manipulate what you have to do right now, in the long run, it's going to come back to bite you. Don't use it that way. Be smart about how you use it. AI is not the enemy. We just have to find how to use it right. So with that, as usual, balance, eat well, exercise, rest, and relax. Of course, that is my beer to you. Don't drink beer, but that's my beer to you. Balance, eat well, exercise, rest, and relax. And I will wrap it up. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Let's keep this up, and I'll see you all next time on Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris.